Welcome, everybody. We're actually starting something new here called the HFT Fireside Chat. We're going to take a little time to check in with some of our chapter executive board members because we want to make sure everything's going all right in the land, as well as to take some time to get to know everyone and make sure as we think about reimagining the union, we want to reimagine and relook at what we have to offer. So I like to first start off with it is March, so it is Women in History Month. And so the first person that we're going to be talking to is the dynamic Special Police Officer, Grace Figueroa. How are you doing today?
Grading yourself.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for joining us. You're going to be working with us and having a conversation with my right hand man here and my partner in crime, Mr. Stuart Beckford.
Hello, everyone. I'm the second vice president of HFT. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, nice to meet you, Stuart.
Nice to meet you, Grace.
So what we plan on doing is that we want to make sure that all of our members, and when we talk about all of our members, that means all of the chapters that come under the umbrella of HFT get a chance to know each and every one of us and know what services and the things that we provide. So as we take a little bit of time to get to know you today in honor of Women in History Month, I also want to take a little time to get to know you and what you've done in our community as well. So let me start off by asking you a question, Grace. Did you grow up here in Hartford?
I did. I grew up in the south end of Hartford for quite a few numbers of years until I was about 14 years old. And I attended Buckley for about half a year, and then I actually got to, move around a little bit after that.
So can I ask the next?
Absolutely, that's great.
I was going to ask the next question is, so how long have you been a part of our district?
It's actually approaching 7 years now. Actually, the 16th will be 7 years.
Oh, congratulations. So let me ask you a question and tell me, what have you seen in the community of the schools as well as in the community here in Hartford? Because you are from Hartford. What have you seen change in the last 7 years?
What have I seen change in the last 7 years? I feel like we are definitely coming together a lot more. We're definitely seeing more Black and Latino employees work within the school system, which I'm really proud to see that because I didn't see that growing up. Um, I can't even remember or tell you when I had a Black or Latino teacher, you know, growing up. So seeing that and on the other side was definitely an eye opener for me. And and having my kids in the Hartford school system too, that's really a great achievement and just something that I love to have for them, growing up as well in the Hartford school system.
That is great. That is great, Stu.
So I was going to ask a really interesting question because I know that you are now a vice president. And so how's your experience been in like joining leadership and do you feel empowered with your role now?
Um, I do, in a way, I do feel empowered. I feel like I have a mission pretty much to fulfill for not only, myself, not only for my daughter, but for other women in the district, within the community, in Hartford, in the school system. I am their voice. And whenever somebody comes to me with a concern or somebody comes to me with, with an opinion or with a question or something, I'm able to go up to the Board of Ed or go up to my colleagues and ask these questions and come back to the community and be like, here's my answer. Here's the answer that I've gotten. If they're not heard as parents of the community or as co-workers or employees of the community, I'm able to voice that in public and just have them be heard. As a woman, it's hard to be in the community as it is because we're always looked at as just the nurturers and just the moms and and so to speak, but we're more than that, definitely.
A little bit of a different role, but it is a role that commands your attention and actually
Exactly.
gives you a lot of chance to like engage other women and young ladies in like this is why I'm doing it, and giving it
Exactly.
a purpose. So that's a wonderful thing to feel. Corey, would you like to go next?
Oh, well, definitely. I'm just thinking about some of the things that you were talking about as being like an example and a voice in the community. And one of the things that I'm very big about in my classroom when I was teaching is that we have to be the change we want to see. And
Exactly.
the thing that I definitely wanted to ask, because actually have other family members also working in the Hartford public school system. Uh, but in terms of Women in History Month, and you're a special police officer, can you tell me a little bit about how you see your role? Because even in the years that I've been in the Hartford system, I have not seen a lot of women rise in the ranks as SPOs, and that's got to be something that I think definitely needs to be addressed. So I guess my question that I want to ask you is, what inspired you to get involved in the special police officer work at the Hartford Public Schools?
What inspired me? Well, to be honest, I've done safety almost all my life. I was a police officer in the Army. I worked for TSA for a number of years after 2001, September 11. I feel like it's always been kind of like my thing, so to speak. But really knowing being in the Hartford school system and having my kids being in the school system as well, I kind of noticed like we definitely need women to show that presence, to show that commanding and that demanding, like, hey, we're here to actually um sorry. So we're here to actually, make a difference in our community. I definitely want to show young girls and young Latino and Black girls that they're able to surpass their dreams of just being in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Of just being these weak, meekly students or children. We I don't even know how to answer that. I honestly, sorry.
Oh
Oh,
no.
you know what, Grace? I think it's great. To be honest, you have captured in
Mhm,
being young man of color. Half of my family was raised in the north end of Hartford, and the
mhm,
other half was raised in Springfield. I understand exactly what you're saying, and I think everybody that sees this is going to say that. And I just want to
mhm,
take a minute to just say thank you for what you do, because you've addressed one of those, I would like to call it, stereotypes that kind of that's insidious. It's in
mhm,
there, and you've risen above it. And I think one of the biggest things that I'm hoping everybody that sees this, you mentioned it already, and I want to
mhm.
say a big heartfelt thank you
Oh,
to our
that-
country. I mean, I
mhm,
see your uniform that you got behind you, but
mhm.
you've done a service to our country, you've done a service to our community, and you've done a service to your family. And I think you may say like you don't know how to answer that question, but let me just tell you, I think for me being a teacher and a role model and being in this capacity, the fact that you come to work every day and you have your history of your accomplishments and you're still proving it, that is definitely that's thanks enough for the rest of us in the community.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think
What do
it's
you think?
really important that you are role modeling for our young
Mhm,
people
mhm,
the way to be responsible outside of just the norms. There are certain fields that everybody norms us in. I'm a tall person. They normed me into sports. And so
mhm.
it's just good to know that you were independent enough to say, no, I'm qualified and I'm good and I have a skill set in another area and I'm going to follow and pursue my interests. And then on another
Exactly.
level, I know what it is and I know what it feels like to experience a parent and parents with an accent and to
Mhm.
have that distance be seen as a young child in society. So just having
Oh,
someone to represent and say, hey, it's all right to be you,
mhm.
is a real big jump in our community. And it's not just the veil acknowledgement. It's a great thing because our kids do need that and they need to see someone being proud of who they are and to stand firm in that I believe in myself. And that's what I think we're here for, that sole purpose, to give them meaning where sometimes there's not meaning. And so that just gives a drive to certain students to have that role model within their presence. So like
And you're
Corey
right.
said, thank you for that.
No,
And
no problem.
I believe that this leads me into my next point with this conversation that we're having is how do you feel about where we're going and reimagining our union and reimagining our roles? Because I think since you've met myself and Corey, we've talked to you about like, how can we do things better? What can we do together? How can we collaborate? So, I mean, I want you to speak to some of the energy that's in the room that we kind of share symbiotically when we're talking about like, what can we do to change things and how can we make a presence in certain situations? So give me some of your spin on how you think that that's occurring right now for us.
Definitely. I love the fact that since I met you guys, you guys have helped me so much, definitely. And learning how to come together and knowing just you guys make me feel empowered to be able to speak out to other individuals about, what I've gone through and how can we make a difference in our community. Like since the whole Black Lives Matter political movement, um, this, we need to make a difference and stand for ourselves, stand up for ourselves and let them know that we are here, you know what I mean? And we're here, we need change. Things are not going to stay the same anymore, you know? I don't know, you guys, you guys are the best. But I feel like definitely the union needs to come together. People out there need to come together as a group and understand that we can't do this alone. We need everyone's help in the community. We need to stand up and tell everyone like, hey, um, we can make a difference. Come together, say something, do something. Don't just sit there and expect someone else to do something for you. Like we need the change. If you want change, you got to be the change, just like you said. You got to be that change. But
Absolutely. I will tell you. So I want to ask you a question, Grace, and it's funny. You talk about coming together. So I'm going to ask you kind of a question that has to do with us as a union in different chapters. What do you think that the members of the other affiliate chapters, our CDAs, our teachers, our health professionals, our parents, what do they need to know in order to help make the job in the job sharing easier for the SPOs?
I feel like communication is definitely key when it comes to that. We need to come together as adults, talk about things. That we can't be in this new culture of being offended about everything. We need to be able to say things and knowing that we're not going to be obviously easily offended and we can take criticism as best and calmly as possible. Definitely a lot of our SSOs, we will take criticism as much as we can, because all we want to do is just make our environment a better place at the end of the day. We're here to help. We're team players. We come from a long line of experience and background. All we do is communicate not only with staff, but with students. We have that rapport. We have that relationship with the community as well. A lot of the people of the community see us as pillars of as role models, as people, as that connection between that gap between the staff and the community. And we don't, to be honest, we don't have enough respect and in the school system or in the district, and that's just me being honest. But we're under recognized for a lot of the things that we do and what we stand for. Like we are that bridge. But if we can come together and just communicate and talk, definitely we can make moves or move mountains and and help you guys as much as possible. And my best friend's a teacher. You know, when I talk to her all the time, and I ask her questions. What are the things that you're going through? What do you need? What are you looking for? You know, when it comes to us as support staff, like, what kind of help is it that you need from day to day? Like, what are your difficulties? How can we be a strength to you if I was to work with you? You know. So pretty much like that. And I get my ideas in that aspect, and try to share that with other SSOs as well, and hopefully with other staff members who are willing to listen. So, I mean, as best as we can just communicate.
You know, Corey, which quote I'm going to say right now, right?
I have a quote
Uh-oh.
too, but I'm going to let you go first.
No, well, I was going to say that one of our favorite quotes in the office is one that Corey has on his emails. Is yeah, I'll let you say it, Corey, because it's a good quote. It's from President
It's
Obama.
okay to disagree, but not be disagreeable.
That's right. And
Oh.
one of my favorite quotes comes from my dad, because you can't climb a ladder without the lowest rung. So every step is important to get to the top.
Exactly.
And so you
Exactly.
can't skip a step to get there. And I think that that's the analogy that you're making, in that we all have to come together and we all have to be supportive of each other, because ultimately our job is to fashion a place where kids see adults getting along and adults doing things in the correct way.
We have to be a united front. Sorry.
Exactly. And so that's where, you know, we came in July 1st, and that was the mindset that we came in with. And I hope that we are living up to the expectations that we set for ourselves, because we try really hard to listen and to hear our chapters and our members and understand where they're coming from, and actually empathize with whatever they're experiencing, so that we can walk in their shoes. And so we hope that this experience that we're taking and this journey that we're taking together with you guys is a good journey, and that it leads to greener pastures for everybody, including our students. And so we are just very blessed that we have encountered you. You are a force, and we wanted to acknowledge that. And we wanted to let you know that you are a positive light in our district, and whatever we can do to uphold that and to elevate that for you, we're hoping that we can do that more.
Thank you. And I love you guys. Thank you.
And, you know, I definitely I think it's great that we're taking this time. And I'm glad, Grace, you were the first person that we featured, because this is really, as we all took our places in our offices, one of the things that we wanted everyone to realize as we reimagine the union is that we are still the people that we were. And my feeling is that you cannot create something until you help the person next to you. And I think part of that comes from celebrating each other. I knew the thing that I have to laugh about is my cousin is an SPO in the district. And the thing that I love is that she and I have two very different outlooks on life, but two of us are living our dreams. And that's the thing we need to bring to all of our children, is that, guess what? There is not just one star in the universe. There's millions of them. And each of them shine a little differently. And so the only way that we can encourage our children to be shining stars is to celebrate the stars that are with them right now. And you're one of them. And that's where we want to make sure to celebrate everyone that we work with, because we're all following a dream. And the only way that we can raise our children to follow dreams is if we go ahead and we celebrate each other. So definitely, I know it's been a lot of, we kind of covered a lot of ground. We talked a lot about community, the work community, the community, the home community, but definitely, like I said before, and I want to say it again before we close out, and I'm going to let Stu and Grace, you can have the final word. But I want to say thank you for your service for everything. But definitely, my last question for you is, what is the message that you want, not just Hartford Public Schools, but the entire community to take from this today?
I want everybody to understand that we are here for the children. You know, at the end of the day, we're here for each other and we're here for the children because they're the future. You know, and if we don't fix ourselves and we don't take the time to remember that, you know, we don't have anything. We don't have a community. And we need to stick together as much as possible, help each other out, you know, and get involved, you know, be aware, teach our children, you know, at the end of the day, if the teachers can't do it, for our parents to do it, you know. But let's just stick together as best as possible and make a difference.
So I'm gonna close out with this last question, and I'm thinking about getting to know the SSOs across the district and being in different schools. And so what would you say is one of the biggest challenges that you would like to overcome collaboratively with us, with teachers, with parents, to you doing your job in the very best way possible? So if we could remove that obstacle tomorrow like that, what would that obstacle be, and how can we help kind of melt it down, remove it, take it away?
Well, for starters, I would love to be paid a little bit more than what I'm already being paid. But I feel like we're all like that as well. But honestly, we're definitely underpaid for what we do. Um, if we can take that out, that'd be great. But at the end of the day, I would hope that we can definitely take away a lot of this testing, a lot of this, you know, like being on the computers 24/7. It's ridiculous. It's like our kids need that interaction. Our kids need to know about the world. We need to teach our kids, you know, just how to live and be themselves rather than I mean, I have 6 and 7-year-olds stressing about a test. Like they should be like having fun, you know, if we can just take that away and for us to just console them at the end of the day and tell them it's okay to feel how you feel. It's okay to be who you are. You know, it's okay how you look like. It's okay.
That's right.
Just keep doing you.
Oh, excellent. Well, I agree with you. I concur that your pay is a reflection of how your employer honors you. And in that honoring of you, it's very important that the work that you do is not just work. It's that you're raising a community, and having empathy for our children warms my heart, because that is the biggest part of education that is not being addressed anymore. It is not something that's on the forefront. Everyone's talking about data and testing points and things of that nature. But when a child needs empathy, a hug, understanding, and sympathy and caring, those are the things that don't go on a spreadsheet and are not data to be inputted and put into a computer. So I applaud that you see the importance of just treating the child as a human. So thank you again. And we appreciate this first chat. And we hope that we can have more with you, and we hope to bring the rest of the team in on future dates and have some more wonderful conversations about the job that you do and who you are, and all the things that we can learn from you. So thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Grace, for everything that you've done. I also want to say, as we round out today, for you, for Stu, for everybody that's watching us, be safe, be healthy, and smile just a little bit more. Thank you very much, and have a great night, okay?
Have a great night.
Bye.